So I feel like every time I do a video on Star Wars, it's basically almost always bad news. And that's mainly because Star Wars as a whole is just in such a terrible spot. I don't know why people are watching The Mandalorian again, because The Mandalorian is always just going to circle back to the same nonsense that ends up making you want to hate Star Wars in the first place. Obviously, with the latest movies that were announced and the TV shows and all that stuff, the storyline is always going to go back to Rey being the ultimate person, Rey being the one to carry on the Jedi Order, Rey being the one to save the day. Rey is the latest and greatest, and she will always be the case. So every single story that is told is going to lead up to that moment. So for a lot of people, Star Wars is essentially a dead brand, including myself. And when I see articles like this from Bounding into Comics, it talks about the fact that the new Mandalorian rumor is that Pedro Pascal apparently had a falling out with Disney, and his character could in fact die in season 3 finale. Now, I'm not watching The Mandalorian, so I'm going to have to wait for articles to come out regarding the ending of The Mandalorian. But if this is the case, that's pretty crazy to me, because Pedro Pascal as an actor right now is pretty hot. Like, he is well wanted in a lot of different projects. Obviously, he just had a major success with The Last of Us. No matter how much I hated that show towards the end, you still have to admit that it was a successful show. And then now you have The Mandalorian, which is nowhere near as successful as the last 2 seasons. It's still considered a decent show for Disney, and you can't take that away from them. But again, Pedro Pascal is a very strong name right now, and I don't really see why they would want to get rid of him in this particular TV show, considering that it centers around him. But apparently, this is the reason why they are focusing so much on Bo-Katan. So let's see what this article has to say. So it says, a new rumor claims that actor Pedro Pascal had a falling out with the Walt Disney Company and Lucasfilm following the conclusion of The Mandalorian Season 2, and that his character could be written off or even killed off in the Season 3 finale. This rumor comes from scooper Jeff Snyder during an interview appearance on Jeff Snyder's The Hot Mic YouTube show, amid a number of other rumors, including the announcement of 3 Star Wars films, with one of them being a Dave Filoni-led film spinning out the Mandalorian timeline that was confirmed just days after a Star Wars celebration. Snyder also claimed Pascal's Din Djarin character could be written off the show. Snyder said, I'm told Pedro Pascal also had a big blowout with Disney during Season 2 and was barely on set for Season 3, which is why the character has been sidelined a little bit in favor of Bo-Katan. Now, again, so when it comes to Disney, it seems like they're having a lot of falling outs with their actors, and I don't really know if these are true or not, because some of them did end up being true, some of them ended up being false. And even on the Marvel side of things, you hear about all the time who apparently there's so many falling outs with different actors and directors, people not getting along. It's like everybody's a prima donna at fucking Disney, and apparently there's more of it going on in The Mandalorian. So I don't really know if they're going to get rid of Pedro Pascal. It's a hard thing to buy for me, because again, even though I don't watch The Mandalorian, I can see him being very beneficial to The Mandalorian, because he is actually running the show essentially. Like, he's supposed to be the prime reason why you watch the show, aside from the stupid baby Yoda, Grogu. So whether or not this ends up being true will be pretty surprising to me if it is. Then it says he would go on to add, and so this source mentioned that who knows if Pedro Pascal is even back next season for The Mandalorian, or if his character walks away somehow in the finale or dies. This is what the source posited, because they know Pedro, and says, I don't think he has been super happy. Not only did Snyder claim Pascal's Din Djarin might get written off or killed during the Season 3 finale, but he also echoed a previous rumor posited by YouTuber Overlord DVD that Jon Favreau and Kathleen Kennedy had a big falling out at the end of Season 2 over the decision to have Grogu and Din Djarin reunite in the Book of Boba Fett. So it's exactly what I was just saying, that it seems like everybody and their mother is having a falling out over here at Disney. What the hell is going on at Disney, aside from them losing a ton of money, of course, that they are all just seemingly fighting with each other for control over the TV shows and the movies that they're coming out with. Like, you guys, if you're gonna make good products, which I know you're not trying to do, but even if you were, you kind of have to try to get along. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to find some sort of cohesion here in order to make something good. Otherwise, if you focus too much on arguing amongst each other and trying to throw your egos around, you're not really gonna do much here. It says at the end of January, Overlord DVD detailed his Hollywood spies, which I don't really know if he has Hollywood spies, but again, informed him that Kennedy repeatedly interfered with The Mandalorian by firing Gina Carano, mandated the space Vespas in the Book Book of Boba Fett and changed the show's scripts to reunite Din Djarin and Grogu. Specifically discussing the Book of Boba Fett, Overlord DVD said Kennedy's alleged next move against Favreau was corrupting the Book of Boba Fett. She couldn't directly interfere with his production, but Kennedy is clever, devilishly clever. When she saw that Robert Rodriguez wanted to introduce the idiotic Vespis into the book, and Favreau hated the idea, Kennedy approached the marketing department and got them to say, oh yes, we can sell those, let's make it happen. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Kathleen Kennedy is capable of such things because, again, this is Kathleen Kennedy. She is notorious for doing a lot of things within Disney and obviously within Star Wars. She is the evil queen of Star Wars, right? She's like the female Palpatine. Nobody likes Kathleen Kennedy. Everybody wants her gone from Star Wars, but I gotta tell you, at this point in time, even if Kathleen Kennedy were to be removed from Star Wars, her legacy is going to live on. There's no way that removing her is going to suddenly save Star Wars. She has gotten so many people in there that think like her, act like her, and have the same ideologies as her that even if she was to disappear, they will continue on those ideologies in future products. It will not go away unless you just completely clean out the entire slate and start fresh. But that's never, ever going to happen, which is why I continue to say that Star Wars as a whole is unfortunately a very dead brand. So it says, as a result, Favreau was so disgusted, he said, F it, let them do whatever the hell they want. I'm going to go off and work in Ashoka in peace, Overlord DVD added. He would go on to note Kennedy interference resulted in a disastrous story that the upper management allegedly had to beg Favreau to come back and fix it, but it was too late to do much except insert some Mandalorian episodes to cut a few from the Book of Boba Fett scripts and hold his nose. Speaking specifically to Grogu and Din Djarin's reunification, Overlord DVD said clearly Favreau planned to have Grogu go train with Luke and become a Jedi. It was a heartbreaking and inspiring final episode of Mandalorian Season 2, and it proved that Favreau had a master plan for all of his series, and it was a damn good plan. But then Kennedy, or someone in her camp, or maybe just an idiot in upper management said, oh no, Baby Yoda is the only Star Wars toy that's selling right now. We can't lose Baby Yoda. We need to put Baby Yoda back with Din Djarin. That was the height of stupidity, a spectacularly awful decision that truly effed up everything Jon Favreau was planning, Overlord DVD asserted. He would go on to claim Favreau had enough after this, that it seems that this was the last straw for Jon Favreau. He had effing had it, according to reports. So again, if that's the case and that's the truth behind it, Jon Favreau obviously is going to hit the wall when it comes to Kathleen Kennedy. I believe she is higher up on the totem pole, and if what she wants is what she wants, she's going to get it no matter what, and there's nothing he can do to stop her. And I'm sure she has her little webs spinning within Disney far past Star Wars. She's considered a higher up executive within the company, and what she says goes, unfortunately. And even if that means ruining the brand more and more and more, it's going to keep happening, and people really need to stop expecting otherwise when it comes to Star Wars, because I've pretty much given up at this point. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it, and if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.